lift the boys ahead of this weekend?
Well, that's the job, you know, for us all. It's not just staff and myself, it's up to the lads to respond in the right manner. It was a chastening night for us, a really disappointing night. Look, you can lose that type of game at Rangers, you can lose in a manner which, obviously, if they turn up and they play well, and they did, you've got to recognise that they were causing us all sorts of problems. But in the first half, we were competitive enough. We tried to kind of stem the flow a wee bit. And then we lose experience with Joe, and I thought the second half we were poor in terms of some of the goals, and it just becomes a mentality thing, that. And at 3-0 we try to fill the middle of the pitch to try and stop that central area, those front players all enjoying it, and try and force them on outsiders, which did in a sense work, but what it did do is we had to defend crosses better, and we never defended crosses well enough either. So we move on quickly. We just have to. Sometimes you've just got to respond for that, and that is the nature of the game. Being a professional, you've got to be that type. And you know, it's like in the big scheme of things, you lose that type of game. Maybe most people weren't expecting us to get anything from it. Maybe we've heightened expectations because we've beaten Rangers a couple of times over the last couple of years, and maybe that type of result is more a surprise than us beating them now. But at the end of the day, when the dust settles, it's a game gone against a team that you're expected to lose against. I'm just more concerned about the last 2-3 goals, to be honest, about the mentality. Don't need players feeling sorry for themselves. I need to stay strong. We're not without our challenges at the minute with players not available to us at the minute, but I still expect better. The Commander supporters should expect better, their team, I expect better. So tomorrow's a chance to be better.
David says that he's had a meeting about the game. Did the players take ownership and admitted that they switched off in certain points of the game?
Yeah, you know, I think it's important that, you know, we want to be the team that we were, not the team that we are currently. I don't think we've been, other than Rangers and Celtic this season, nobody's absolutely battered us in games. We've always been pretty competitive. We've not been at the same level for a lot of the games this season, and that's why we are where we are in the league. But I still believe we're only a third of the season in. We've got 2/3 of the season to go. I always believe 12 wins in this league gets you top 6. So we've got 9 wins to get between now and then. We've got, after tomorrow's game, we've got 5 games out of 7 at home. I think things will start to look a bit better once, hopefully, we can get 1 or 2 back, and once we get a run of home games and get a wee bit of confidence into the team. So I've not lost sight, and the players have not lost sight of where we're looking to get to. And neither we should, but at the same token, we've got to get those improvements.
You mentioned there that maybe some spectators or people watching from the outside hold you to a certain standard. Is that what you want from last season, to have that?
Yeah, well, I made that decision in the summer to go more or less with the same lads again, because I thought, one, they deserve to get that chance to go and let's go and prove it again. They deserve the chance to perform in Europe. And ultimately, we never made too many changes. So the test for that to be validated is still there. We're only a third of the season in. I know we're into December, but we're only 13 games or so. So we've still got plenty to look forward to. We're not losing sight of what we want to achieve. We had a really strong run at this stage last season. Took us right into March, April. And we need to try and deliver something like that coming up. I believe we've still got answers in the building. We could do with 1 or 2 coming back. We try to reinforce things in January. Obviously the long-term injury to Stuart Finlay isn't what we would have wanted. So we're constantly having conversations about trying to get those reinforcements in January, but until then, December's such a busy month for us. And hopefully, as I say, with the way the fixtures are, we feel there's a lot of winnable games, and just getting back to being a bit more solid, a bit more us is key.
You're only 6 points, I think, off the top 6. Does that just highlight to you that you aren't that far off it, really?
Well, we're not, but again, we're disappointed where we are, and we can't shy away from that. But at the same token, it is very congested, it's very tight, and it normally is. The league is normally like that, and it's normally when you come out of those festive fixtures, and we've got 8 games between now and the 8th of January where we actually feel that we can make some ground. But you know, ultimately, we could do with starting to deliver a wee bit more better performances, to get a wee bit more confidence into the team, keep more clean sheets, which is going to be pivotal for us going forward, and we need to find a way to be that team. You know, I do believe that the other night was a bit freakish. It's a bit, Rangers can do that. They've got good players. They turned up. They were up for it, and you've got to move on quickly for that. And thankfully, we've got a game Saturday. We go up there. we'll see who's all fit today before we travel on the bus. There's 1 or 2 still causing concerns, but despite all that, there'll be a competitive Kilmarnock team tomorrow.
Have you got a squad up to France?
Well, we've got 1 or 2 still concerns. We'll still make a decision on Matty Kennedy. Game might come too quick for him. We've picked up a few knocks from the other day, the game the other night. Joe Wright, in case anyone was going to ask, he was obviously taken off. He's passed all his concussion tests. There was no concussion, it was just severe bruising, and it was a lot of pain when he was heading the ball afterwards. So we sent him to the hospital after the game at the Queen Elizabeth, and eventually they'd said that they were happy, there was no need to scan or x-ray. So they validated that he was okay. For further clarification, we sent him for a CT scan yesterday, just to make sure belt and braces were covered with all that, and that's come back all clear as well. So it's just managing Joe's pain threshold, and but in terms of all the tests and stuff, he's absolutely sailed through all that. So we're hoping that we can find a solution for him heading the ball without being in too much pain, because he does do a lot of heading the ball. So, but hopefully he's okay. We did miss him the other night, there's no doubt about it, and we were a wee bit patched up in that back line, but if we can get him back tomorrow, it'll be a bonus for us.
You go down the sports shops, you can get a John McEnroe headband for him or anything like that.
That's exactly what we're looking for. Aye, exactly. So he might not look the prettiest tomorrow. I think he was more concerned at some of the sights he's seen at the Queen Elizabeth at 2:30 in the morning, and he couldn't wait to get out of there. He said there was some madman running about and drinking hand sanitizer. I says, welcome to Govan. No, he's thankfully, he was okay. He had passed his test on the pitch. The doctors and physios were happy with him at the time. But it was just his pain threshold. He headed a couple of balls after that, and it was really quite sore, and he's got a good bit of swelling yesterday in the thingway, but he was actually fine in terms of his concussion tests, and we appealed to the referee for a concussion substitution just because it was a head knock, but we never got that. So all good with Joe, thankfully. The player's concern is his welfare is the biggest, most important thing here, and thankfully he seems as if he's going to be okay.
Just obviously, looking back to the reaction you get, you've worked with this squad for a long enough time, they've worked with each other, that you'll be confident they can just react in the right way as well. Yeah,
I've no time for people moping about. I've no time for feeling sorry for ourselves, and it was the manner of the last 2 or 3 goals particularly that I felt it was just shoulder slumped, and it all became just a bit too much for the lads on the pitch, and it's something we've spoke about in adversity. We've got to give a bit more and got to stand up to these types of things. Rangers had the quality to take full advantage of that, and what we need to make sure tomorrow is we're a real competitive animal. Get back to doing the basics well, being hard to beat, being solid, and hopefully find a winning performance from that. But it is important that we give ourselves the best chance to be that. We move on quickly for the game at Ibrox. But I trust the boys. We've worked together long enough now. I like the squad that I've got. I like the people I've got in the dressing room, and it's important to us now that we just go and find a bit of form. And I believe the fixtures coming up. Yes, a tough one tomorrow. Jim's done a great job this season, and Dundee United have shown a lot of their games have been really tight. They've shown a real competitiveness, a real organisation, and they've come out of really tight games with the 3 points. You can see what they've got going this season. It's important that if it is a tight game tomorrow, as expected, that we try and find those fine margins to win the game.